Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me and sharing a dream or two. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so I'm just going to get to it. Lately, this past week, my sleep cycle has been off the charts. It has been insane. There are nights where I will get 8.5 hours of sleep and have had the worst sleep and be exhausted the next day. And lately, the nights that I have had no sleep whatsoever, I've been so energetic, ready to go. That in itself says something, okay? But anyways, last night was one of those nights where I got no sleep, ready to go, but boy, did I have a dream in between the times I did sleep. I fell asleep at 3:11 and woke up at like 4:20, and in between there, another crazy dream. I've been having dreams lately, most of you that don't know me, of my mom, and that in itself is significant, so I'll have to go meditate on that one later. Anyways, so this particular dream that I had, there's so many that I want to share with you, but this one right now. All right, so I wake up and I come to, and my mom is driving me to a particular location that she says I need to be at. She drops me off and she goes. I am standing at like a corner store maybe, I don't know, but it's a corner, and the doorway is right there on the corner. So when I walk into the house, I look to the right. I'm in the living room. My sisters are sitting over here on the couch, and they're squabbling. And there is another couple over here that I do not know. They are intimately and passionately going at it with each other, and they are just, you can feel the energy radiating from them. It was actually really beautiful to see. Anyways, so they're in the living room, and they're all doing their own thing. These two are squabbling. These two are going at it, and I turn to my left, and there's a gentleman standing in the doorway, and he introduces himself. And when he introduced himself, he was the husband of a lady who had just passed away, and he's trying to get rid of her items. He's trying to get rid of everything in the house. No longer does he need it. No longer does he want it. He wants them gone. And I specifically asked, well, why me? And he says, your mom felt that you should be the first one in consideration before anyone else comes through the house to get the items. And I was like, well, I appreciate that. And he's like, but it doesn't come without a price. The price was that I needed to hear some harsh truths about myself, okay? And harsh truths about the items themselves as well. So if there was an item I was going to pick up, I was going to hear a harsh truth, whether it be about myself or about the item itself. And I didn't quite understand that until I picked up the first item. And the first item that was absolutely just beautiful, okay? I'm in the kitchen. And there's, it's almost like a hoarder's house, but an organized hoarder's house. Every counter, everywhere you looked had something that you could grab. And it was things of value, things of worth, things of beauty. So she had a very beautiful, eccentric eye. Anyways, the first item I picked up, I hear a harsh truth about myself, and I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, ooh, I'm going to put it back down. And I pick up another one, and then I hear a harsh truth. And I was like, all right. I don't think I can do this, because now no longer do I want everything. Now it's like I got to be selective. Anyways, I had asked him as if there was a way that he could just give me a moment to look at the items before I had to hear these. And he says, sure, absolutely. I'll be over here. And he points towards the couple that is going intimately at it with each other. And I said, leave them alone. It seems like they're enjoying themselves, and it's a beautiful thing. And he says, oh, no, because they need to be reminded as well. So he was going to go over there and just kind of mix things up, stir things up for them. Crying shame, but I got what I wanted, which was to go through the house by myself. And so I'm going through the kitchen, I'm looking at the items, and I'm realizing that I want everything, because everything is of value. Okay, so as I get to this second floor, the second floor was loaded. It was loaded with beautiful items. And they may not have even meant anything, but they were of value in some way or another. And she had absolutely every inch of this house with every item that you could possibly imagine and want. And so I'm going through, and I'm like, I want this, not forgetting or not remembering the fact that for each item that I chose, I was going to have to hear something I didn't want to. All right. So I put some of the items down because I can't carry them all. When I got to the third floor was more like, it looked like a shop. There was a lady at a counter, or and it wasn't like a sale counter. It was like a another room just of a counter workspace, and she is starting to pack things up, and I'm like, oh no, the people are coming through. I need to get what I want and then get out of here. So I turn, and as I turn, there is a table in front of me, and the table in front of me has items that are not of this worldly dimension. They were items I'd never seen before. Every item needed research, and I remember saying, this is it. This is the table that I want. I want the items on this table. I've never seen anything so beautiful in my life, and I wanted to research each and every item on that table. So I started panicking, and I remember I needed to find my keys. I remember setting my keys down somewhere with my purse. My purse was a green handmade purse, and I had a strap. And so I started asking, even though there wasn't really anybody there, where's my keys? Where's my keys? Maybe I was asking myself, I don't know. But I started panicking because I needed to get that third table. So I started going back down to the second floor, trying to retrace my steps to see if I could find where I put my keys. I see some keys on the table, 3 or 4 sets, but they're not my keys, because every time I picked them up, there was keys, but there was key chains attached. So you're picking up like a long string of keys. That's significant somehow, because there were 3 or 4 of those that I kept picking up going, these are not my keys, these are not my keys. Where's my keys? Where are my purse? I come down to the first floor. My sisters aren't paying no mind to me when I ask. And I'm getting frustrated. And I remember going, well, maybe I left them outside. I don't know why I would have done that. But I step outside. But when I step outside, I get this feeling of not so much danger, but more like if I cross the street, if I left this house, if I left this place right here, I was never going to be able to get back to this place, to this house. And so therefore, in itself, it kind of made it dangerous for me to cross that street. So I didn't cross the street. I went right back in the house. When I went back in the house, I see him over there, and he is just like almost yelling at them. I can't hear what they're saying. My sisters are paying no mind. I, at this point, was like, you know what? I just need to get my items. When I go up to the kitchen, then I go up to the second floor, I notice that there's a lady coming through. There's another lady coming through. So now people are starting to come through to get what they want. And I'm like, oh, I need to get back up to the third floor, but I haven't found my keys yet. I look down. Nothing else mattered at this point when I saw what I saw next. Huge, beautiful crystals sitting on the ground. Nobody was looking on the ground. They were all looking at the tables. These crystals were so big. This lady had a beautiful collection of them. And nothing else at that point, like I said, mattered. I went over, I picked up the biggest crystal, and it was smooth, and it was clear as can be. And it came into 8 points. I call it terminated, but my husband says it's terminated. The crystal points, 8, okay? And I picked that sucker up. That was going with me. As I picked that sucker up, I looked over, and there was another little crystal, not little, but smaller, and it was in a very different, unique shape, like almost like an L. And I grabbed that one as well because I was like, how different is this one? And as I have these two, now I start panicking because I don't know how I'm going to get up to the third floor to get the items off that table. And this, if I have no way of finding my keys or the van that I needed to put the stuff in. As I'm contemplating this, I see salt crystals, salt chunks. I thought they were salt that she had in the corner, but they weren't. They were crystal chunks. And they were like blocks, like this big. Okay, so imagine a pile of blocks of crystals, unrefined. All right, because that's what it looked like. They were not clear. They were unrefined crystals. So they looked like big salt chunks. And she had them in the corner, and I wanted those too. So these are the 3 items that I want to get. And then I'll figure out how I'm going to get that, right? So as I go back downstairs, I see the gentleman, and he is coming back over. Now he's ready to dish out some truths to me, and I'm not ready to hear. And what happens at that point? I don't know. I was whisked back to consciousness. What a dream. What a crazy dream. So, okay, guys, so since I just woke up, I'm going to go contemplate on that. I'm going to go take a shower, meditate, come back and let you know what I think that the dream meant. I don't know. What do you think the dream meant? You should leave me a comment or two. Let's go find out what this dream means, though, shall we? Hey, guys, welcome back. Okay, so, all right, I took some time, thought about this dream. Boy, I'll tell you, My husband, when I told my husband the dream, I had to laugh because he said, at the time you were dreaming, there just happened to be a geomagnetic storm coming through. So you might want to take a look at what the planets are doing. Wise man, because it made sense at that point. Think about this, okay? Right now, things may not make sense to you, especially if you find yourselves on a path that you're not currently wanting to be on, okay? Right now, the planets are throwing some sort of evolution at us, and whether or not we're ready for it or not, guess what? It's coming for us, okay? So you're going to have to kind of learn to go with the flow and be easy on yourself, because right now change is wanting to go ahead and let us spark under our stubborn selves, all right? But rather than see the change as annoyances that we always do because no one likes change, maybe this time we ought to take a moment to appreciate it and really take a moment to use it as a learning experience, something to grow from. Right now, Venus is hanging out with Scorpio. That's what the planets are doing, and it makes sense because the couple sitting on the couch, that explains the passion and the intensity. Scorpio being as intense as it normally is, Venus with all the passion she's got, they're just going at it, man. Well, here comes Mr. Man in the doorway, Saturn, to mix things up. So it makes sense, okay? So right now, while Venus and Scorpio are hanging out, it means the intensity and the passions right now of us and our emotions are running deep, okay? But when Saturn comes along, on the flip side, he's always there to remind us of that harsh truth, that negative side of things, the shadow side, okay? Which in us can be, obsession, paranoia, unconscious fears, jealousy, what all of these emotions that are running deep within us, can be easily triggered. And we need to sit there and take a moment and address that. Because whether it is paranoia, obsession, jealousy, anger, and all of these emotions, it may not necessarily have to do with other people and relationships. Maybe it's a self thing, that we need to sit there and take a look at this. We need to address this energetically now, okay? Because if we go inside and we look at these and we see what triggers us, Saturn is here to remind us that we don't need to sit here and dwell on those emotions. We need to address them and move on, because he doesn't want us reverting back to the same karmic cycle that we find ourselves in to begin with. Currently, as Venus and Scorpio are hanging out, Saturn decides it's going to go ahead and come in and it's going to square off in the mix of things, guys. And we all know what Saturn represents. Saturn is the planet of karma. Saturn is the planet of restrictions and limitations. It's the planet of the in-your-face failures. They love to point it out. He loves to point it out. No one likes Saturn because it always likes to make your goals and dreams like a distant thing that you'll never reach. All right. Saturn loves to go ahead and point out all of your problems and all of your pitfalls and all your failures. But Saturn was also there to remind us that he gets a bad rap. He gets a bad rap because while no one likes his delivery of the messages, he's really just trying to tell us in his own unique way that we need to go ahead and we need to be wise enough to understand and see the pitfalls in our own lives. Because if we are not aware of these pitfalls, these failures, and these blocks, then we are never going to be able to clean and clear them off to be able to evolve to a higher state of being. Okay, so that's all he is there for, all right? So we have to sit with ourselves energetically now. So as Venus and Scorpio entertain Saturn's presence, it basically means that right now we're dealing with the intense emotions in love down here, whether it's self-love or twin flame love or soulmate love. We are being asked to clear and heal these shadows, these problems of ours in our own system and with others around us. The whole message right here, right now, I think, is Saturn Saturn can also be a messenger for us. Okay? It's also got some good things in the negativity because it actually forces us to have to sit and clear the heaviness from ourselves to make room for whatever harmony is that we are desiring. So we need to take this moment and appreciate the change that is happening. Okay, we need to sit here and appreciate the negativity of what is going on because it does force us to realize what are our priorities, what means the most to us. So if you are encountering some serious issues in your life currently, it's because Saturn says that you do have underlying issues that you need to be resolved. Okay, that you need to resolve these before you can move on. With me, it's probably my family underlying issues. That's why they were in the dream. That makes sense to me. We've got to clear these karmic blocks that have attracted and aligned us with these experiences that we are currently unhappy with right now. All right? He's here to remind you of that. It's a part of life that we all have to learn how to face challenges. It's a part of life that we all need to learn how to transform those challenges or alchemize them into a positive change so that we can clear our own shift to be able to move on. We're here to grow and evolve as beings. And sometimes our souls speak up for us and they want to remind us that we're here to learn something deeper so that we don't have to keep repeating the same thing, same cycle over and over. And now is the time to do that. Now is the time for you to sit there and address that. Saturn is screaming at this point for you. Right? He's screaming, especially if he had to actually make a personal appearance. He quite literally is screaming to you if you are still dealing with unresolved past issues of life at this point, then you can't be mad at life. You can't be mad at the results that it keeps bringing back to you to the same dead end if you're not going to want to change. If you are not going to welcome the embrace of change and deal with yourself and your self-love. Okay, guys, we are the creators of our own thoughts and our own experiences, whether we know it consciously or whether we don't. And if we are facing some issues right now on some crazy level lately, okay, the first thing not to do, because we always do this, we always revert to doing what? We blame others. We are really good and skilled at that. It's always this someone else's problem, someone else's fault why I'm in the boat that I'm in. Well, guess what? Saturn says, this time it won't work. You need to step up. You need to man up. You need to understand that it's your responsibility at this point. All right. It's up to you to accept your own responsibility now for cleaning and clearing your trauma out for yourself. No one's going to do it. No one's going to care to do it because they're dealing with their own issues. So it's time for you to step up and deal with it yourself. We are no longer able to ignore it if we wanted to. And when that happens, when we are no longer able to change a certain situation in life that we find ourselves currently in, whether it be past, current, all right, our souls are asking for us to sit now and change ourselves. Because if we can't change it out there, we've got to do it here. It's the only way at this point if you want to evolve to a higher ground. So guys, it's time to man up. It's time to wake up. It's beyond the time for you to take 5 minutes for yourself, all right? And love yourself unconditionally today, all right? Guys, what issues, what self-issues are you going to clear up for yourself today? Till next stream, guys, thanks so much for joining me for Daily Dreamer. Many blessings to you and sweet dreams.